And welcome to another watch party here on Inside Texas. We're here for Texas A&M Game 2 at Bluebell Park and College Station. A&M won Game 1, obviously 9-8 last night, with a little bit of help from Texas. Got to call it how it is. But real quick, guys, this show brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Make sure you're taking advantage of the ultimate Inside Texas tailgate giveaway. You can see the logo up there on the top right of your screen, and that's coming with all the good stuff. Check all of this out. Blackstone Grill, Yeti cooler, tumblers, Longhorn chairs, $1,000 value on that. Go check it out. All you got to do is run to Instagram. You still got time. You got today, you got tomorrow. Contest ends at the conclusion of this series between Texas and Texas A&M. We'll have the winner announced, Academy will have the winner announced after the series concludes. But go find the Inside Texas post about the giveaway. Like the post, tag a friend in the post, and then obviously make sure you are following Inside Texas over there on Instagram. So great giveaway, cool giveaway from our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Thank you for that. Talking about the game today, you got lefty Luke Harrison for Texas, who's been solid as Texas's number 2 as their Saturday guy. And you have righty Aiden Sims going for the Aggies, had his ups and downs at times through the years. I think the biggest challenge for Texas today, much probably like it was last night, is going to be the environment at Bluebell Park. I mean, A&M does have a pretty dang good baseball lineup. Pitching, they just really don't scare you from starting pitching to anywhere in the bullpen, but give credit where it's due. Texas had a few walks last night. We misplayed a ball in the outfield and took advantage. But I think just looking at those two teams, pretty clear cut. Texas, has better top to bottom program at the moment. Doesn't mean that they're going to go win this series. A&M's got a fantastic environment right now. It is pretty cool. Got to give them credit where it's due. We'll see what Texas looks like about, as they try to bounce back. First pitch is at 2:02, so here in about 1 minute. I know a lot of you guys probably have little masters going while you've got the baseball game on, so I do appreciate you being here with all that there is to watch on TV right now. It's going to be fun. We'll see what the Horns look like, man. As Mr. Nash talks, Texas says it is the perfect day to bounce back. Texas has been very good at bouncing back, obviously, as they have struggled with that opening game of SEC series. But here we go. You see, Mendoza, Tenney, Robbins, Pack, Becerra, Borba, Larson, Duplantier, Livingston. Everybody was in the lineup last night. Borba, see if he can bounce back a little bit, rough day at the plate. But again, just one pitch at a time. Going to be a tough environment. You're going to have to lock in. This is probably a game that's not over until you've recorded all 27 outs, because A&M they do have a lot of power in that lineup. We saw a little bit of it last night. But here we go, man. Let's lock in and have a little bit of fun. I'll get a box score or something popped up here in just 1 minute for everybody. Let's see here. And Sims' first pitch is a 95-mile-per-hour strike just on the inner half of the plate to Mendoza. And he settles in to receive the second effort from Sims, and a tight little breaking ball there, located very well now, side part of the plate, and we're off here at 0-2 holes. Okay, long way to go here. Mendoza, did he go? They'll say that he did not. It's a nice 0-2 pitch from Sims, really wasting run right there. Mendoza held up though, 1-2, still alive here. All right, let's get that right there. There we go. Mendoza fouls one out of play on the 1-2 pitch. A little fastball on the outside. I'm not fully aware of Aiden Sims' arsenal and what all he offers as far as pitch selection. That one was offered at 90 miles an hour, so it could have been some type of cutter. Nowadays, you got guys that can throw sliders, at that velocity, but it looked like fastball action. If it was a cutter, didn't see a lot of cut to it. Here we go, the 1-2 to Mendoza coming up shortly. Last night was as awesome as a loss can get. It was a pretty cool environment, really good baseball game, back and forth, obviously. Mendoza gets a good part of that one, sends it into the left center field gap. Oh, and the Aggie center fielder brought it in for a moment off the glove as he collides with the wall. It falls. Mendoza walks into second base. A fantastic start here for Texas. And that Caden Sorrell could not bring that one down for the Aggies out there. Hey, we're going to take that. Love this start. You take advantage of it. It was a well hit baseball. Sorrell almost made a hell of a play, and you got to give credit where credit's due. But hey, that ball found a home. It deserved to find a home. That was really well hit. All right, Carson Tenney. Let's see if he can stay hot here for Texas. Meat of the lineup up for Texas. Need to take advantage here. And a breaking ball to Tenney. We'll start Sims working ahead again at 0-1 to Tenney. Really nice pitch there. Sims seems to be locating that as far as breaking stuff early on really well, which again, if you can pitch backwards, throw anything at any time in the count, that's going to be huge against a really good Texas lineup. And then he comes with the fastball, and it is pushed to right field by Carson. Plenty of room for Mr. Mendoza to tag over. He'll get a throw, but it's cut off. And so we've got a man standing out there. Ethan Mendoza, just one out here for Texas. Good job by Carson Tenney, just doing the job there. Just making a baseball play, pushing the ball right away from third base, making it easy for Mendoza to tag up and move over. Huge win for Michael Early last night. I mean, just had to be personally, there's been a lot of heat on Michael Early for the way that the Aggie season went last year. Obviously, they've started, pretty hot. This season sitting 25-7 coming into last night's game, but only 7-5 in conference play, and still with some of their better conference opponents coming up. And so they really need this series. He really needs this series to just kind of get some of the Aggie fan base off of his back a little bit. But yeah, they still got to go win another ball game against obviously a very good Texas squad, and we're hoping that doesn't happen here. Aiden Robbins takes a ball one on a breaking ball in the outside corner that doesn't quite catch it. Sims working from the stretch with Mendoza on third. Another breaking ball to Robbins on the inside of the plate. Well located for strike one, and that'll even the count. Sims, that a little bit of a 12-6 action. It looks really good. He's working at about 83 to 85 miles an hour. It's got a nice tight break on it. That one didn't. Yeah, but say that one a little bit more of a slider action. Same velo coming in there at 85, and now he's working ahead of Aiden Robbins at 1-2. You got to dig in here and do your job as a hitter. Find a way to score this run from third base. Stay alive if you're Aiden Robbins. Hard hit ground ball to short. That'll score the run. Plus, it is booted a little bit out there, and so that'll be an E6. Aiden Robbins will be standing on first base after after the Aggie error from Boston Kellner there at shortstop. Texas getting a little bit of help from the Aggies. Again, Mendoza had a really well hit ball out there into left center field that Sorrell did get a glove on, but it could have been brought in. Ultimately, it wasn't, and then obviously that's a relatively routine play that has to be made if you're on the A&M side of things. But great start, fortunate start here for Texas, leading 1-0. Got an early Rory McIlroy bogey at Augusta. He bogeys one. Scotty Scheffler is on the move. Put up a 31 on the front side. Here we go. 1-0 to Anthony Pack. And he swings over the top of a breaking ball. At some point, I wonder if Texas if Texas tries to make Aiden Sims beat them with his fastball. Having a lot of success here early, very early, albeit. A lot of success, though, with the breaking stuff. They checked over on first. But we'll go now 1-1. Oh, that's going to be a 4-6 double, or 4-6-3 double play, rather. Hard hit ball right at the Aggie second baseman from Anthony Pack Jr. He was all over. He laced it, just in a bad spot. A&M gets out of it. Any further damage done? They do have an error on the inning. Texas from one base hit, one run as well. And we'll go to the bottom half of the first inning here. So with that being said, yes, it is Luke time. Also, real quick, it's time. It's Dre time. We're going to hear a quick word from our sponsor for today, Andre the Lawyer, and we'll be right back, guys.
Texans know when you're injured, there's one name that gets results: Andre the Lawyer. Trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans win their injury cases. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what your claim is worth. Andre the Lawyer will fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait. Call 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. Contact info is in the description.
All right, guys, we're back. We're running it. All right, let's talk some Masters. Talked about the early bogey rather. Well, Pat Reed has birdied his first 2 holes at Augusta, birdieing the par 4 first, the par 5 second. Rory had a 6-shot lead coming into today. After 1 hole of his play, 2 holes of Pat Reed's play, that lead has been cut down to 3. Obviously, Scotty Scheffler is on the prowl as well. Scotty looking very, very good today. He sits 6 under through 12. He has the par 5 13th and 15th coming up. 2 very, very gettable holes for a hitter like Scotty Scheffler. But again, Augusta can bite you at any corner. So we'll see what happens. Long way to go in that golf tournament. A lot of people kind of crowning Rory, giving him his back-to-back green jacket. A lot of work to be done here. We'll see what happens, but we're about underway. It's Luke Harrison time as he settles in. And you can see Luke's numbers right there, sporting a 4-0 record on the season with a 2.72 ERA in 43 innings. 42 Ks, 16 walks. That's a very solid ratio, over 2.5 to 1, obviously. Need that from Luke today. Again, A&M does have a very potent lineup, a good lineup. Did a good job last night, limiting them to 7 hits. Scotty, Rory, again, don't do this, Nash. I love Scotty. All righty, here we go. A&M settling in here. Gavin Grahovic, mainstay of this program, huge part of it, and obviously one of the best bats they have in the lineup. They look to get him as many bats as possible. They tried him out in that leadoff spot. Luke Harrison misses just inside with a 92-mile-per-hour fastball to start us off here. Luke working fast, delivers again. A little bit low, but gets Grahovic to chase and foul one off down the third base line. So 1-1. Here we go. All right, back up the middle for Grahovic, and A&M has a leadoff man on board, similar to Texas. That ball was laced just to the right of Luke Harrison, right back up the middle. No chance for the middle infield for Texas to make a play there. All right, what do we do here? I don't think you'll see Michael Early chasing runs this early in the baseball game. It doesn't appear that he will be. And Harrison misses with the 1-0 pitch on a breaking ball to the inside to lefty Caden Sorrell, who you saw in center field earlier, trying to chase down Ethan Mendoza's well-hit ball. You see a lot of power atop this Aggie lineup between Grahovic and Sorrell. As Sorrell swings and misses on an off-speed pitch on the outside part of the plate. Nowhere close to that one, to be honest. Good hitter, though. It's a new pitch, a new battle. Here we go. Luke Harrison checks on the runner, delivers just a little bit more on that same corner. A pitch that Grahovic swung through was a little bit outside. That one was definitely a strike, and Sorrell fouls that one off into the bleachers down the third baseline. So 1-2 for Luke Harrison, working ahead. Obviously, saw a game last night where Texas and yeah, 5 innings out of Ruger, but you had to go deep and use a lot of pitches out of that bullpen. So you're going to need Luke Harrison to eat some innings. And that ball smoked right back up the middle by Caden Farrell. And it was going to have first and second with nobody out. A two-hop rocket at Aiden Robbins in center field. Again, you got to locate the baseball well, get a little bit too much of the plate on those 2 base hits from it for A&M. And here comes Luke Harrison working to Chris Sakopian, who baseball Jesus, according to A&M people, when he came in, he's a dang good player, not knocking the kid whatsoever. Really, really good player. But you see the numbers right there against right-handed pitching, hitting 203, left-handed pitching 571. That is an incredible split. Definitely is going to need to bring up that right-handed average a little bit. I don't know how that ball missed right there from Luke Harrison, but it's 1-0, as they're saying that his breaking ball on the outside there was indeed off the plate. Maybe Blue believes it curled around the plate. Nonetheless, there's another off-speed pitch. I believe it's a changeup from Luke Harrison that is called a strike on the inside part of the plate. 1-1, Luke continuing to work fast. Texas not really holding either of these runners on as they're working a shift on the left side of the field. Ball's kind of cue balled off to the right side in foul territory. So again, Harrison working ahead here. He's only thrown 10 pitches, working quick, throwing a lot of strikes, but A&M is, to put 2 of those strikes into the center field, outfield for base hits. All right, Harrison and Hakopian. Big breaking ball, strike 3, sit down, 1 out in the inning. That is a huge strikeout right there. You saw the numbers. Hakopian hitting 571, 571. That is incredible against lefty pitching. 4 pitches. Luke Harrison sits him down, and a huge time to do so with A&M having first and second and no outs to start this inning. Lefty Jake Dura up. That's high for ball 1 to him. And that one's fouled off. Fastball working on a little bit on the inside part of the plate there, and that's 1-1. And that ball is down and away from Luke Harrison. 2-1. The 2-1 from Harrison. This is in the same spot as the 1-1 did, as 3-1 now. Aggies forcing Harrison out to throw some pitches. I mean, it's thrown 15. Still only has 1 out in the inning and a 3-1 count here to Door. That ball's fouled away. 3-2 now. Big pitch here. Early in the game, but still a big pitch. Off speed and fouled away by Door there. Got on the hands up there in the upper part of the inside strike zone. Keep battling, Luke. 1 pitch at a time, kiddo. You see the section 203 Aggies giving Luke all the noise right now. That pitch on the outside part of the plate and fouled away by Door. He continues to battle here. Yeah, I do think it was probably going to be called ball 4 there, Nash, if you're referencing that breaking ball. Here we go, another full count pitch from Luke Harrison. And that one's fouled away. It's the hardest pitch Luke has thrown here in the first inning, coming in at 94 miles an hour. That ball is outside on the fastball, and Dorr walks to load the bases for A&M. All right, we're okay. We saw last night, walks will get you. You got to be careful. Nico Pardita hits for A&M here with the bases loaded and one out. You got to attack, Luke. Let the defense play behind you. Everything will be all right. Texas and Ruger in the bullpen held A&M to 7 hits yesterday, but the 5 walks to go along with it was a big bugaboo, and apparently that pitch missed, I assume, high to open the at-bat for Nico Pardita at 1-0 now. I mean, I don't know. And he swings for a fastball now, 1-1 to Pardita. One and one to Pardita. Bases loaded for in here. Bottom of the first. 1-0 Texas. Pardita rips one down the third baseline. Fair ball. Multiple runs will score. It'll be second and third for A&M with one out, and they now have the possession of a 2-1 lead. That ball was laced down the left field line by Pardita. A&M has had 3 very, very hard hit balls for their base hits here in the first inning. Terrence Kill hits next for the Aggies. Yeah, they're barreling up baseballs here in this first inning. Okay, foul ball. I was wondering what they were going to rule right there. He had to lock in and got to find a way to get it out. I was really hoping that it was going to be a situation in which that third base runner had just made a really bad choice. But indeed, it is a foul ball. A lot of rain, and it looks like we're going to have our first break of the day. They're breaking out the tarps. Brutal start to this game for Luke Harrison. Brutal start here with the rain, but hey, maybe that's what we needed. What does that do for Texas? How long does this rain last? I don't know what this cell looks like. But I tell you what, at least we have the Masters to talk about. Yeah, there might not be baseball for quite a bit. We'll see. Again, long ways to go here, but stay tuned. If you're still out there, thanks for hanging with me. Definitely needed a little bit better of a start here for Luke Harrison. Wanted to have him eat some major innings, and between what's gone on with A&M hitting the baseball pretty dang hard and then the rain, we don't know if we play baseball in the next half hour. Like I said on the commentary, there is a lot of water hitting that baseball field right now. It's going to take them a bit to get this tarp set up, and then you have to go through the whole process of setting this place back up to be able to play baseball. So stay tuned. We're going to hear a quick word from our sponsor, Mr. David McClellan, and we'll be right back, guys.
Big financial decisions don't have to feel overwhelming. There's someone who can guide you every step of the way. David McClellan is a fiduciary financial advisor with Forum Financial, and he's working closely with his clients as a true financial life coach, guiding every aspect of your financial journey with expertise and care. If his name sounds familiar, that's because David was a swimmer at Texas and a member of several national championship teams. Today, he channels that same championship mindset into helping people win with their finances. David specializes in financial planning, and he's contributed numerous articles to Kiplinger on the topic of retirement tax bombs. And right now, David is offering viewers a free intro consultation to assess your financial situation. Do not miss this chance to get personalized guidance from a trusted expert. To schedule your free consult, email David at dmcclellan@forumfinancial.com, or you can call him directly at 312-933-8823. The contact info is in the description.
What do you think, guys? We playing baseball anytime soon? It looks like it's going to be quite a while, but we can talk a little bit of golf if y'all are down. Talk a little bit of golf until we kind of get a little resolution on what's going on. But obviously, we talked about the early movement here at Augusta with Rory. Bogey in number 1. He didn't birdie number 2. Pat Reed has birdied his first 3 holes. He birdied the par 4 first, the par 5 second, the par 4 third. Long way to go. But Rory had a 6-shot lead roughly an hour and a half ago. His lead is now 2. They've got us watching Boston College and Virginia Tech. This is tough, guys. So let's see here. Do we continue the live? Do we talk a little bit of golf? We can do that for a little bit. We can talk a little bit of Masters and see how everything's going over there. Let's check in on the live broadcast. You can see right there. You got Sam Burns getting in a little bit of trouble on that par 4 third hole, one of the more difficult greens and approach shots on the entire property, even though it's usually with a wedge in hand, always almost with a wedge in hand for these guys, unless they really do lay up from the tee box. But it's such an uphill shot, and then you have such a small landing zone because of how narrow this green is. Really, really difficult golf hole. Obviously, you're talking about Augusta National. I mean, it's supposed to be difficult. I don't want to watch a birdie fest, but there you see that, Rory McIlroy. Also here on this third hole with Sam Burns. They're the final group out today at Augusta National. But man, it is crazy to see how different the scoreboard looks than it did this morning when we woke up. Again, I didn't think, I said I wasn't one of the people that was crowning Rory as our champion already. I was one of the guys that was, hey man, I'm a big Rory fan. My son is named Rory. I've seen the ups and downs, baby. I know how quickly this can change, and how, I mean, he was up essentially 5 shots last year with 7 holes to play, and we had to win it in the playoffs. So here's Rory. Huge putt for him. Obviously, the momentum of his round. Driving the screen. I mean, you haven't seen that a lot of weeks, but a 2-putt birdie right here gets him back to even and puts him in the right direction. He's kind of started slow, most of these weeks, but one big thing about him and his play as he gets ready to hit this eagle putt, let's see, working downhill left to right, moving pretty quick. It's got a chance. It's a little bit short, didn't quite hit it. That's going to be a tap-in birdie for Rory to get him back to a 3-shot lead for the moment and back to even for his round. Rory is 0 for 9 on par 5 fairways. 0 for 9. Don't really, it's hard to fathom that. You're 0 for 9. You lead the Masters by 3 strokes. You played those 9 holes at 7 under par. You haven't made a bogey or worse on those holes. Pretty incredible. Jack, it's definitely a sketchy start, man. Getting way too much of the meat of the plate, and A&M is barreling the damn baseball up, and they're sending rockets. That's what it is. Hey, one pitch, one inning at a time. We got a lineup that can put up some crooked numbers in a hurry. Same can be said about A&M, to be honest with you. And with the way that last night's game went, and between the way that this game's probably going to go today, now with the way that the pitching was looking in the first inning there, I think Texas will hit Sims pretty well if this delay is short enough to keep him in the game. I don't know if you go back to him if it's an hour and a half delay. What does that look like? So could just be a bullpen, just run fest. We'll see. Long way to go, but I mean, yeah, again, A&M having second and third with 1 out. You got to minimize that damage somehow. Get out of there with, find a way to just give up 1 more run at most. Obviously, optimal scenario, you give up just I mean, that's what A&M fans are going to say. And again, you got to give them credit, man. We're not a perfect baseball team. Our bullpen has been an Achilles heel at times this year. Um, but yeah, they do have an incredible environment. Like, it is what it is. Yeah, see, I get you, man. We barely lost last night. That's the cool thing about this baseball team is every single loss we have, essentially, you can say, hey, this was self-inflicted. Like Texas, and this isn't to discredit A&M or anybody else, Auburn or anyone else who's beat Texas. Like, Texas hurt themselves more than the other teams, beat Texas. I mean, 5 walks, misplaying that right ball, field and right, misplaying the ball in right field by Duplantier. Like, I mean, those are, that's things you learn, very early in baseball life. Can't walk people, definitely can't walk leadoff people. Um, and you can't give away free outs. You just can't do so. So, long way to go, man. We're gonna be all right. Yeah, if we get swept, there's 110% definitely still a chance at a top 8 seed. You're gonna have many opportunities to prove yourself in the SEC with quality competition. Texas obviously has got some skins on the wall already, winning some good series against good teams. Auburn's a good program, obviously. Oklahoma's a good program, obviously. And they're going to have other opportunities to prove themselves. It's just one series. It is to A&M, so that would make it feel a lot worse than it really really is. But in the long run, Texas's goals are all still very very attainable, and that was what I said coming into baseball season. I'm sure might have heard me talk about it a little on here. Just do enough to get a top 8 seed. I want to be hosting, obviously, regional, then a super regional as well. Get in the door to Omaha, and we're going to have as good a chance as anybody to go win it. So just do enough. Again, long way to go. I don't think we're panicking or anyone's going crazy. Just being honest, it stinks. Sorry, Nash. Getting swept is far from. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And a long way to go here, man. Long way to go. If we get swept, I mean, again, we're playing without our starting shortstop. You know, um, its location. A guy losing the ball in lights, I don't think is indicative of like his future and ability to play in the outfield. Um, I think we're continuing to see guys have better at bats, better and better at bats. A couple guys who started hot had some lulls. I think they're getting hot again. The heart of our lineup is uber dangerous. So confidence level, like honestly, if we were to get swept, as far as being a top 8, I would still say, and not to be funny, I would go with an 8, 8.5. Like I'd still feel really dang good about it because I think this baseball team is going to play really good down the stretch. They'll be motivated to play down the stretch. Obviously, once A Rod comes back, that's a big boost. But also at the same time, the way that we kind of, and again, you have to assume we stay healthy. That's a big thing. Like we have one injury already. That's not to say we can't turn around and have another one, but um, you know, not trying to jinx the guys. It's just part of sports. Got to stay healthy, and assuming that we do so, I would be at an 8, 8.5, somewhere in there. Pat Reed bogeyed to drop to 4 back. So we were just talking about Rory having a 2-shot lead, and all of a sudden it's back up to 4. Golf, crazy game, and obviously they're playing at a really fun course where birdies and bogeys are, they're all over the place. A little bit softer greens. Than maybe your traditional Saturday in Augusta, maybe just a little. I'm not knocking these guys, but just a hair. They're all obviously really, really good. But Friday and Thursday, the way as firm as the greens were, I thought we were going to be in for a bloodbath this weekend because there's no rain in that forecast. So any water that is on those greens is being put on there by Augusta right now. So you got Rory going on to the very, very, very difficult par 3 fourth hole. Oh, crazy. I mean, he's just at 11 under, Reed 9 under, and how quickly in 5 minutes that lead is doubled. Looking through it, I think the A&M guys, a couple of them are their better guys. Who was the guy that threw in the 8th inning? I think he'll be available today. But they did. They went. They didn't. I mean, I'm not going to say they went all out for the win and left themselves no options, but they did throw their better guys. I mean, they knew they had to have that opening win. It was huge for their season. Huge for Michael Early. So yeah, they threw their better guys. I do think 2 of their probably 4 best bullpen arms would be available today, including the guy that threw in the 8th inning, who I think is they're probably the best guy. But that's just my opinion, and again, based off of what I saw last night and the type of action they had, and this and that. But Yeah, man, we'll see. You just got to locate the baseball, throw strikes. When Texas does so, very, very difficult team to beat. Of course, you're gonna have days where you go out there and you get beat by good pitching. You don't put up a lot of runs. Um, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Freshcorn's a good player. He's got good stuff, really good action. Um, I wouldn't be surprised. They would sell their soul in this one. You know what I mean? To go ahead and like try to wrap it up, and then whatever happens on Sunday, happens on Sunday. I think they would have that type of mindset. We'll see how Schloss plays it, but I mean, again, man, gotta find a way to get out of this first inning down only 3-1. I don't know, like 4-1. Again, we can do it, but this crowd is going to be into it, man. This rain delay is not going to help. There's going to be a few drinks had. You can guarantee that here in the next few minutes. So let's get the Masters leaderboard here popped up while we're chirping about old baseball rain delays. Who do y'all want to win? Y'all Rory guys? Scotty? It's not Rory. I know y'all aren't Rory guys. Very few Americans I feel like are Rory guys. But are we Scotty guys? Are we rooting for the Spieth comeback? Let's see here. Da-da-da. All right. The lead was down to 2, and now it's 4. Gotta love golf. Any of y'all? I mean, are y'all? All right, there. Weird seeing Pat Cantlay's name on a leaderboard. To be honest with you, I think see right there. Yeah, you got McElroy, Reed, Burns, Young, Lee, Scheffler. Long way to go. Yeah, that's the thing. That's I mean, I understand it's a cool thing, but you can look at every single game we played. We've made errors at times. Obviously, you can look at Aiden Robbins and Auburn and how that game finished. We beat ourselves so often, and again, we're not a perfect baseball team because we've continued to beat ourselves at times. So you have to find a way eventually to get over that. You can't be your own worst enemy, and I think that's true for this Texas team. There's a lot of talent, but you got to throw strikes. And again, at the same time, you're looking up there at some really good, A&M bats. You've seen here in the first inning what they're able to do, when balls are thrown over the plate. And so, I mean, like sometimes that has an effect on why we're not locating the baseball and not throwing strikes, or when we are throwing strikes, locating them well instead of giving kind of way too much of the plate as you saw in that first inning. Man, that's tough, man. I don't know how much Nash follows the softball team, but OU is really, really good. They are young, but they are really, really good, and they hit the crap out of the baseball. So we'll see. Is Tegan throwing? Has anybody seen? I would imagine she throws tomorrow instead of today. That's traditionally what type of thing you would do in the series. So yeah, I wonder who Mike White turns to and what exactly that looks like. OU's good, and they've owned us in these season series as of late. So I think we've won what? I feel like we won one season series against those ladies in like 15 years. I could be wrong. But I know we did win the series a couple years ago in Austin. I want to say maybe that was the year that they beat us in the year they beat us in the College World Series in 2 games. But hey, Jack, I really do appreciate you keeping the chat going, man, because I didn't expect this curveball of, and Austin, you too, man. Like, I didn't expect this curveball of the rain. I knew there was a chance, but the only other two watch parties we've had here on Inside Texas, I did for the Sweet 16 versus Purdue for the men, and that lost, and then the loss for the Final Four against UCLA on the women's side. So A, maybe I need to stop doing these watch parties, but B, obviously there's no rain delays when you've got you've got hardwood in there indoors. So wasn't expecting this. What's up, Big Daddy? What's up, Seacat? All right. Seacat, my bad, dog. But no, I hope all you guys are well, man. I know this rain stinks. It's springtime, baby. We should all be out on the golf course hanging out. This weather's trash, man. Yep, bats got to come alive, man. And that's the thing I think you'll see. I don't think Texas is going to concede this game or fold this game, even if A&M does add another run or two right here. You're going to see answers from Texas in this game. You'll see a really big swing from a Longhorn at some point that hopefully gets us right back in this thing. Because A&M, we'll see what we look like coming back. I've heard nothing. If y'all heard anything on what to expect for this rain, I haven't looked. I'm just in here for the long haul, baby. In the trenches. I've got my helmet on. We're strapped up. We're here. Yeah, you can't rock the golden sombrero, man, especially against a rival. I mean, again, I love the Borbos. Great family, great folks. He's been a heck of a player for us. Bad moment. See how you bounce back. How do you bounce back from that? Shane Lowry just did something cool. A hole in one for Shane Lowry. There you go. He moves 4 behind his best friend Rory McIlroy. Crazy. Well, tell me, Nash. I don't want to know you have the weather radar. I want to know what the weather radar says, man. Hook me up, brother. Are we playing ball? Are we about to get started? Is the tarp still on? Is Billy Lucci doing a mid-first inning pretzel review from Aggie concession stands? Like, what's going on over there? 31 minutes. Okay, that's a hell of a lot of time for Billy Lucci pretzel reviews. And see, and that's the thing, man. It's a trade-off there. You've been playing really, really good, really, really good defense, and you got to be good over there, man. Close to clearing. Meteorologist Nash checking in. That a boy. Thank you, man. Hole in one for Shane Lowry at the 6th. Not the Casey Smith slander. First baseball game in 10 years. Hey, from basing on her tweets, she was watching last night. And I'm pretty sure I know she was watching when they beat us in Omaha. I wish I hadn't. Yeah, that's one Aggie I do follow. She does, man. She does not. They don't play. They hate us so much, guys. It's great. It is honestly pretty awesome. I've growing up just had no clue, like the real disdain. But a lot of you know I lived in College Station for quite a while. That's where I had all of my children. Like that's, yeah, they hate us. I think I had 4 Texas like decals removed from my car in the first 2 or 3 years that I lived there, and I finally like gave up. Cause are probably going to be needed, and we're going to need them to look the way it's looked as of late. So cool that Boston College and Virginia Tech get to play at Fenway. I would do anything to play at Fenway. Imagine a little like slow pitch softball game. Yeah, I'm an old man. So what? A little slow pitch softball game, trying to hit someone with a green monster. Like that's what I want to live for right there. Shane Lowry, hole in one again at the 6th, moves him 4 back, ties him with Pat Reed and Sam Burns. And all tied for second, obviously behind Rory. Cam Young, Haotong Lee had 7 under and a tie for 5th, and then you have Scotty Scheffler sitting at 6 under. Was this last night? Key in your brother-in-law's cars. It was orange, even the sign on the window saying, "Please don't, please don't key in my car. I'm an Aggie." Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm like not terribly surprised. I mean, it is what it is, but that doesn't shock me. Yeah, I mean, that was tough where LeFew came in and really struggled to throw strikes. It kind of really got the crowd I mean, they were already in it, but like, man, the regional Nash, I'm assuming. Um, yeah, you got to throw strikes, man. And again, LeFew's got great stuff. You just got to locate the dang fit. You got to locate the baseball. Maybe that is a moment where you talked about it. You know, like you said, one of you guys in the chat were saying the crowd just kind of felt like we couldn't overcome the crowd. And maybe that was true in that sense. Scheffler with his second misses the par 5 15th green long. He'll be back between some trees hitting his 3rd shot. So he'll try to get up and down to move to 7 under. Listen, I love Scotty. I'm a Longhorn. Like, don't get me wrong. It is funny to me. It's lost on me how nobody talks about Rory hunting Scotty down from 8 shots back with 17 holes to play at the Tour Championship a couple years ago. I'm just saying. Scotty has his opportunity to return the favor of Rory as he was more than 8 shots back here, obviously only after 2 rounds, but he has cut his deficit in half. Scotty's playing incredible golf, 6 under on the day. So we'll be in a weather delay for quite a bit, it seems. Great question, man. See, that's me. That's me and Ash. I'd rather have Jordan one as well. It would just feel better. The golf world would appreciate it more than another Scotty win, and that's not the knock Scotty, dude. He's incredible, but Jordan, man, I like the pain that he went through was felt by so many people, not just aren't Texas guys. Scotty hasn't had that type of pain in the golf world. Scotty hasn't had his career cratered. And now, listen, Jordan Spieth's career cratering is a lot different than the average man's career cratering. That just means, hey, he's missing some cuts he'd normally make and not winning any more golf tournaments. Still doing okay. Swing looks honestly pretty good. Just so inconsistent, man. And it seems like the trouble that he used to get into, um, he just somehow finds a little bit worse trouble that he and even with all his ability, just he can't get out of some of the mess he creates for himself. But yeah, good question, Juice. I don't really know. Nash, who would you turn to? Um, you want somebody obviously if it is not Luke and you don't think like, okay, hey, yeah, 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 dude, yeah, absolutely. If you got out of this inning down 2-1, you have the momentum at that sense. You go back out there with this crowd and the bubbles and all the bullshit that's going to be going on. Um, no, absolutely. You're able to get out of the second and third with one out. Maybe you get a ground ball to the third base or first base, and or infield fly, whatever it is. Okay, however you get out of this inning, if it's only 2-1, that right there is victory in this game. Yeah, you don't feel like you won the first inning, obviously on trailing, but you almost come out of that first inning feeling like you won that first inning, if that makes any sense. That would be huge. And I guarantee you, that's what Schloss and the guys are talking about right now. Max Winter pitching, whoever it is, you got to go out there and make a couple of really quality pitches in that first AB. You got to be really, really good there first, second, third, you got to deliver good pitches that have to be well located, give your defense a chance to make a plays, help the ball stay in the infield, or get a guy to hit a weak ground or weak pop up, whatever it may be. But again, long way to go. If we give up a run, it's not going to be the end of the world. Plenty of firepower, obviously, on this side for Texas to make up a little bit of a deficit here. Yeah, feeling. I mean, you'd honestly feel 10 out of 10 after the way this thing started, but. Hey man, really appreciate that. I do love doing these live shows. It's fun. I'm glad that y'all watch, because if nobody watched, then they wouldn't let me do them. So the Sweet 16 watch party with Purdue was a lot of fun, man. I had a blast with that. Again, losing sucks. That one hurt, especially the way that ended. I will be a Trey Kaufman Wren hater for the rest of my life. But no, at the end of the day, man, I genuinely do appreciate the compliment, and it's a lot of fun to be on here. So yeah, and I get that feeling, man. You see a young guy and you're like, man, like you're not gonna go out there and be flawless every time. At some point somebody's gonna touch you up a little bit. Sometimes you're gonna have command issues. Like we talked about, locations such a big part of pitching, a big part of baseball. And even when you're throwing strikes, you've got to be located well. And I hope it's not I hope that's not his reality. I hope he stays hot. We need it. Oh, well, let's take a look at the other SEC baseball series this weekend. Do do do. All right, 1 second. We'll pop some of these up here. All right, you got Oklahoma and Vandy in a tie game in the bottom of the fifth inning as they're tied up at 5. Oklahoma, obviously, swept by Texas earlier in conference play. Always good to sweep the old Sooners, but they did beat Vandy last night 13-11 to open that series up. You also have Florida, Georgia, relatively big series. Florida won the opener last night. And then today, well, that game was supposed to be played right before Texas A&M, but with all of this weather, um, oh no, way they finished that thing. Wow, they got that thing in quick. Georgia did even that series up at 1. Okay, 5-1, Georgia wins. So Georgia moves to 11-3 in conference. Texas needs to do a little bit of work here. It's obviously Florida's a good baseball program. They've been a good program for a while, but this Georgia team is loaded, man, and they can hit the absolute cover off the ball. They got another home game there. Good chance for them to win that series. You got Kentucky and Auburn, both teams hovering around 500 in conference play. Mississippi State hosting Tennessee. Tennessee, I believe, won last night, if I'm not mistaken. Arkansas is still hanging around the top 25, even though under 500 in conference, and they're on the road to top 10 Alabama. LSU and Ole Miss battle here in a little while. And in South Carolina, old South Carolina won a conference game, beat Ole Mizzou, took them down last night 1-0. Now they lead 2-0 in the top of the third. South Carolina getting a little bit hot. Maybe not. Now, a long way to go. I feel bad for my Mizzou friends out there because they were pretty disappointed. They wanted to win a baseball game. They were pretty excited to have a chance to do that yesterday. But oh, yeah, man, that's all it was, dude. It was losing to Kansas, and like again before that, like I was a high school coach and just a little too busy to really share too many thoughts, opinions, and then but I've always been the goofball with in all the group chats and stuff with my friends and coach and buddies, like just always been a goofball when it came to Texas sports. And I was like, hey, we can do this on Twitter too. And I had a lot of things I wanted to say about the football program at that time that weren't very nice. And my friends are kind of tired of listening to that crap. So I just was like, hey, I'm gonna get on here, and it's not like I dog the guys. I'm just like, hey, we couldn't tackle anybody in a phone booth, and like in 2021 when we lost to Kansas, that was very, very accurate. But nah, man, it's been a blast. And again, really, really blessed to have the support and kind of community. I've made some really cool connections, and Nash has been a big part of that. Eric, obviously, Justin, Ian, all the guys at Inside Texas being part of that group. Man, it's pretty cool for a guy like me because I used to read their stuff and think that they were like superheroes almost, just because Texas sports is my life, to be honest with you. It's always been that way. I've grew up, live dying on every single play that Texas ran, every single shot that Texas took on the basketball court. It's fun. Obviously, the 2000 the 2010s were tough on us all, man. But we're all here together. It's been a blast, and that just makes these good days, across the board in all sports. It just makes them feel even better. Feels makes you appreciate the 10-win, 11-win, 12-win football seasons we've had over the last few years, when those weren't attainable for several years there. But the Masters to golf is the equivalent of Supreme to Hype Beast. I don't even know. I'm not young enough to know what that means, Nash. I know Supreme is like a brand, obviously, but oh man. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Get to the CWS, as long as you don't get in some weird situation in which you just have a complete meltdown in the regionals from your bullpen. Our starting pitching's dang good enough, man. And they're going to go out there and put out quality starts, more times than not. Again, some of these SEC teams are damn good, and they're going to get touched up. It is what it is. These guys are great. Some really, really freaking good lineups. It's the best baseball that's played across the country. These are teams that you could very well go see in Omaha, or in the Final Four of Omaha, or in the championship series. So it's iron sharpens iron. Again, you've seen Ruger Riojas and the development of him and how much he's improved in just a year. Couple of tough, appearances back-to-back weeks. Excited to see how he bounces back. I think our pitching's going to be fine. Like you said, it should carry us. Rain clearing. Good news. Good news, everybody. Oh. Nah, man, you're good. Texas people get on me for the Aggies loving me, but no, not all the Aggies do. I'll say that. I got my haters out there just like everybody else, but okay, exclusivity. It sure does. It does. Yeah, Nash is awesome, man. Good folks there, man. But I do appreciate it, guys. It's fun. Hopefully get back to baseball soon. You got a lot of stuff going on at old Augusta right now in the Masters. And not to bore y'all with this stuff, I know not everybody's a huge golf fan, and that's not what we're here for on Inside Texas, but there are a couple Longhorns competing, and I feel like most people, even if you're not a big golf guy, turn it on the old tube to watch a little bit of old Augusta action. Everybody gets behind it. A pretty good shot from Scotty Scheffler on the par 3 16th. He'll probably have about a 20-25 footer for birdie there. It's fun, man. I just want to be at Augusta, just to know a place where no cell phones. Nobody can have cell phones. Everybody's just hanging out, enjoying the moment, not just taking out their phone and hanging on to everybody, and you don't see just arms with phones hanging up every time you look up to watch anybody do anything. Sounds like the place to me. Pat Reed finds the green on the par 3 6. He did bogey to drop the 5 back. Oh man, I feel like this is a dangerous question, but the fact that you said Lastros makes me feel safe. I am a Ranger fan. Um, I've never been like anti-Astro until my siblings really got on me after the Astros won in 2017. They really started to ride me hard about the lack of success for the old Rangers. And so after that, I had to become anti-Astro a little bit. But you, any Astro fans out there, the very first Astro game I ever watched in my life, I watched the Astros and Pirates in the late 90s, watched the late Darryl Kyle pitch, if you all know the name. But no, I loved the Killer Bees. I wasn't a big Berkman guy. I actually hate Lance Berkman for what he did to the Rangers when he was with the Cardinals, Game 6, 10th inning, if anybody remembers. But no, Biggio Bagwell, um, those were dudes. Carlos Beltran, when he was there, they were awesome. So I got a lot of family that likes the Astros, but I definitely would never a day in my life, past the age of probably like 13 or 14, rooted for them at all. I was always Rangers first, but when they were in the AL West and NL Central, they didn't really cross over much. So Nash, I swear to God, man, we're gonna have to do something with you, brother. We can't have this. This is blasphemy. Nash is at the Astro Ranger game wearing the Astros jersey and the Rangers hat. That's Nash right now. Yeah, the baggy, the batting stance was just so sick, and I don't know how he did it for so long, squatting down like that. That shit looked crazy uncomfortable. But no, credit for Bags, man. He was a stick. He was a stick. I'll never forget. And for you Astros fans, if there are any listening, I'm sure there are. I tell a story every now and then. I was telling it. Me and Eric hung out, um, I don't know, a month or so ago here in New Braunfels and played a little pool, just getting seeing each other in person. So meeting, I guess technically, but um, my uncle is, man. What was it? It's like 2003, no, 2004. Texas is hosting Missouri. This is when Missouri had Brad Smith, and this is a week after Texas lost to OU 12-0 and got shut out. So a lot of people were like a little annoyed with Vince Young and a little annoyed with just Mac Brown, the offense in general, very annoyed with losing to OU. But that was the same day that Pujols hit the home run off Brad Lidge, the go-ahead home run off Brad Lidge that still hasn't landed. The ball's still orbiting Earth. He had like a little handheld little like Walkman TV thing, and no, Eric Nolly, sorry. Um, and my uncle's got like this little handheld thing, and we're like 100 yards from DKR, and like walking up to it, and like pulls, I guess like that's right when pulls his home run, and he just like takes it and spikes it into the cement there on the sidewalk in Austin, and just keeps walking, like really doesn't break stride. And I didn't know what happened, and I'm like trying to ask what happened. I was a teenager, and he was just not responding, and so I didn't know for like, I don't know, till like 5 hours later that Brad Lidge gave up that home run to Pujols. He just, yeah. But my uncle, great guy, big Astros fan. But other than that, great guy. What up, Austin? How are you, man? Congrats on the win last night. I hate to say it, but gotta be fair. Oh, that White Sox team was loaded, dude. That was at a core that they were due. But yeah, that was a really good Astros team, man. I swear it is. That ball was nukes, son. That ball was, yeah. A lot of different ways you could describe what Pujols did to that ball. And I used to make fun of Houston all the time for it. And then what happened? First World Series game ever go to in my life, Rangers Cardinals game 3. Yeah, go look up and see what Pujols did in that game, buddy. I think St. Louis scored like 16 runs. It would be really cool, man. I mean, again, they're two of my probably 3 or 4 favorite golfers, but top 5. But I love Jason Day a lot more than I like Scotty. I would love to see Rory and Jason Day. I'm a Euro guy when it comes to the golfers, man. Tell me my feelings about David Freese. I don't want to get fired. I like Inside Texas. I like these guys too much. I like you guys too much. I don't want to. I don't want to get canned. But no, not a David Freese guy. You got to give respect for the moment. I mean, what a moment that he created. You know, really really cool and everything. But at the same time, like, damn, dude, do it to somebody else's team. You didn't have to do that to my team, David. It's like he didn't do anything else. You know, it's not like it's 5-time All-Star. Like, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. We got ours, baby. We got ours. It wasn't that core group. It wasn't it wasn't the guys. And again, I'm not trying to like. I don't want it to sound like I'm not appreciative of the guys that did get it done, but it's just like, man, I would have done anything for Michael Young, for Kens before Kens obviously got traded, but like, and I know before the runs, but like for Nelly, for Hamilton, for Vladdy, I would have done anything for Vladdy to get one. I love Vladdy so much. I know it was just the 1 year, but talk about Napoli and what he did in 2011. You go on and on and on, man. Elvis, obviously. I'm starting to cry a little. Uh, Neftali. I mean, adding Mike Adams in 2011, like that was it for me, y'all. I knew I was like, we got our eighth inning guy. That dude's so bad. He was crushing it. Mitch, release the Fury, Mitch. I know y'all seen Road Trip. Release the Fury. Yeah, I used to, man. Those teams were the most special teams to me, probably of all baseball teams. What Colby did in Game 6 against New York, 2010 ALCS. I was in the building for that one. I looked up at my friend in the seventh inning and I said, it was like no outs going to the top of the seventh inning. I said, hey, if we sit down New York, 9 up, 9 down to finish this game, Alex Rodriguez will be the last out. So we kind of knew, we kind of saw it coming, man. That night was cool. That was cool, man. Kind of, you exercise the demons. You finally take down New York in a baseball series after going 0-3 against them in the late '90s, and the only 3 playoff trips we had, we go 0-3 against them. And win one combined game in those 3 series. Well, then you finally get by them. You haven't won it, but it felt like you had in a sense. But to beat A-Rod, you know what I mean? And nobody talks about game 1 of that series and the Rangers blowing a 5-0 lead in the 8th inning. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all remember that. It started with a hit by pitch of Brett Gardner, and then chaos ensued. The 3 games played in New York. Are y'all kidding me, dude? Andy Pettit getting his shit rocked. That was special stuff. That was a special team. Especially a special team, man. And I hate to just say that word over and over, but I don't know, man, because Knapp was good, man. Knapp was so good. He was good in the playoffs. Game 5, yeah, that's tough, man. Cliff Lee and Mad Bum, right? Edgar Renteria, the 3-run homer in the 7th inning. Yeah. Yeah, you're lucky, man. Good for you, 09. Yeah, because those A-Rod teams, after you go make the playoffs 3 times in the late 90s, and then you go out and you try to take that next step and you sign a talent like A-Rod for $252 million. Back before doing that was cool. We had some crap teams in there, man. Getting dead last in the AL West, but still getting some Sunday night baseball run because you had probably the best player in baseball at the time. Man, we have some bad teams, but where were we at when this for the season? I'll tell you exactly. I can tell you where I was for basically pretty much. I can tell you where I was for Game 5, San Francisco. I can tell you where I was for pretty much all my big sports moments, most of them. But Game 6 for St. Louis, I walked like 3.5 miles home from an Applebee's in College Station, all the way across town. Smoked my first cigarette that night. It was disgusting. That was tough, man. Game 6 was tough. Yeah, that's the stupid thing, dude. You have Mitch Moreland below them. Like Mitch Moreland, like come on, man. Like that lineup was crazy, dude. Yeah, that lineup was cracked out. I mean, from top to bottom. Um, I'll never forget that 2010 ALCS game one. I know I just talked about it. We lost 5-0, but go back and watch it. And I can't remember who leads off. Would it have been at 2010? I don't know if it would have been Elvis. We get a base knock. Then you have, I believe, Mikey Young puts one in the right center field gap. Got first and third with no outs. Hamilton comes to the plate against CC Sabathia. Um, and me and a couple buddies are sitting in the first row of the second deck behind first base. And you got all the MVP chants. And it's a Friday night in Arlington. And Sabathia throws him an off-speed pitch, and Hamilton hits it into the bullpen for a 3-run shot. And the way that place went crazy, I was like, man, you didn't get this growing up. Like you didn't see this. You didn't have those moments where it was pandemonium inside the ballpark because like, cool, we won some regular season games, and I watched A-Rod hit a walk-off grand slam versus the A's when I was like in 5th or 6th grade with my baseball team. We all went. Pretty cool night in late July. And but yeah, not like that. Not playoff. Playoff baseball is different, man. And like that, those teams, man, they were special. They were special, special, special. Um, Cliff Lee, if Cliff Lee returns, we probably win. But ultimately, man, you go back and look at the Rangers are the best team in 2011. Like I don't, you can get bent if you believe otherwise. Like I'm sorry, like it's just you're silly. Game one, we have a 1-run lead in the 8th inning, we blow it. The lead in Game 6 that we blew. Um, and if Game 7 there was a day break between Game 6 and Game 7, that game could have played out completely differently. But we're so flat. It had been like 15 hours since we had our hearts ripped out of our chest, stepped on. Um, yeah, yeah, it was tough, man. It was tough. That was tough, man. 23 it didn't make sense, and it's hard to. And it didn't feel as good as it would have with those teams because, for one, I just feel like it's almost like, man, like they hadn't earned our stripes with us, like the fan base. And that's not like knocking them. It's just saying like that. We had such a core group of guys that had grown up and came up through the program and the organization. And man, those teams are special, dude. But having one, finally getting one, beating the Astros in 7 games, I mean, like, it definitely makes it all feel a lot better. At the ALS 2000, yeah, that would have been the Nelly Cruz walk-off, if I'm not mistaken, right, Nash? Walk-off grand slam. I know that it was like a tie game or something, but like I think he walked it off of the granny. Yeah, that's the thing. And again, I'm not knocking the new ballpark, but give me back the old ballpark. Give it to me, man. Give me the childhood memories. I just miss everything about it. Honestly, like there's a lot more character to that ballpark, man. Hitting wiffle balls growing up back there behind the center field wall, snow cones back there, and then obviously the Grand Slam shop, and I just miss it, man. Good times, dude. Good times. The claws and antlers in the old ballpark. Again, I hate to sound old man on you. I swear I'm only 37. Um, yep, it was game 6 versus Detroit. That was a great series. Detroit was so freaking good, dude. They were loaded. That was a really, really good Detroit team. Trying to think who all they had on the as far as the arms. I know they had Verlander. Obviously, they had another big dom. Oh, Scherzer. Yeah, dude, Detroit was so good. Oh man, we beat some good squad. Good. Oh, 15-5. What am I thinking of? Maybe he walked off game 1. I feel like we walked off a game in that series, but maybe I'm crazy. Amen, dude. Preach. To rally to So game 5 was on my birthday. The Altuve, the game 5. I was sitting on a golf course. Got it on the phone the whole time, of course, and listening to the audio like when we're out playing. And so like I'm dialed in, but like when I get really nervous about some games, if I'm like it's only happened a few times in life, but if I can't watch. like I can't sit and watch at least. So I go to the golf course. I'll turn it on my phone, or I'll bring an iPad, or I'll bring the laptop. I'll turn it on. I'll have the audio going, and it just gives me some type of small distraction. And again, I've only done this a few times, but that was one of the times that I had to do it, was Game 5, Astros Rangers, because I thought whoever won that game obviously won the series, and that was tough. Rough birthday. Also, you got to play a little golf on your birthday, right? But so yeah, rough birthday there. But the way that you go answer Game 6 and Game 7 by just stomping a mud hole in those guys, and I'm sorry, Astros, y'all got your two. Okay, let me talk my trash for a minute. Yeah, man, 26 ballpark. Yeah, that's cool, man. I miss that stuff. I can imagine the memories you had growing up and hitting games up there. I was a junior ranger, lived in East Texas, about an hour and a half from the park, and I think we got like, it's like, I don't know what it is now, but you got like between 12 and 18 tickets depending on the year, and so we were in there all the time, man, just having a blast. I miss that stuff, man. And then like the little league, we're taking trips up there, and I had a teacher in 6th grade, and she had season tickets. She had 81, obviously 81 games worth of season tickets, and her and I were really, really close. She was a diehard Aggie, but like we talked like were, I feel like two 80-year-olds talking ball, sitting there like scratching lotto tickets and drinking coffee. Like she loved ball. I feel like, I've always loved ball. Have always known ball, debatable, but back then I definitely thought I did. And so me and her would have some great conversations, and she started giving me her tickets. And so I think my parents got annoyed at some point because I come like sprinting in the door from school, like, "Hey, if we leave in like 10 minutes, we can make it by the second inning." And they would be like, "God, again?" So no, man, I miss that park. A lot of time spent up there, man. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We can do that. Hey, a little Julio. I love the reference there, man. Yeah, the Little League Parks. That's something I never got to do. But I grew up playing against Kershaw and Stafford and that Dallas Tigers program. I don't know if any of y'all are DFW guys and select guys, or if y'all know that program. I mean, obviously they're really big now, but um, when they first started, really getting going, I would go watch one of my guys I went to high school with, one of my best friends in this world. He would play with those guys, and they would play there. I was not good enough to play with them, but I'd go there for support, and I'd be like, dude, this is like the sickest little park on the planet. Like, I can't even imagine that. And then they started making like I don't know if they're called like Field of Dreams or whatever, but they started making like the replica parks, and those were all pretty sweet too, man. I love all the replica stuff. Not as big on like replica golf. I think there's some cool ones to do it well, like the Tour 18 in Dallas, the replica holes where you have like an aim and corner and all that. It's not very good. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Sorry, Tour 18 in Dallas, if you ever hear that. Tour 18 in Humboldt, Texas is fantastic. It is fantastic. My man played with the Tigers. Look at you. Man, those dudes were nasty, brother. Like, I grew up playing them probably a couple times a season, and I think we had to be like 0 and 15 to 0 and 20 against them throughout my career. 4 p.m. restart. There it is. Yep, Dixie League State Finals were played there. 4 p.m. restart. What time is it now, Nash? I need you to do everything for me. I can't tell the time. 3:13. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break for 45 minutes. I'm gonna come back on here, be live. I'd love for you guys to rejoin me. Um, I'm gonna go in here and check on the kids, make sure everybody's good, make sure it stops raining. But no, I'll be back in just a moment. Y'all come on and hang out. I do appreciate all the comments and keeping it going. It's a rainy, nasty day, but it's good to have a little fun on here with my friends. All right, I do appreciate it. Thanks for watching Inside Texas. We'll be back in just a bit, 45 minutes. We'll be back.